It was his research that alerted the CDC to that Provincetown cluster and the dangers of the Delta variant. Doctor, thanks so much. You've been studying and modeling COVID cases for a year now. Why did this particular finding convince you that you had to reach out?
Well, it was a couple of things, it's not just me working on this. I have a collaborator that I've been working with very closely named Michael Donnelly, who also is very involved in this research. And what we saw was there were a lot of people that we knew through social media who had attended these events during those weekends, and it was just a large cluster of individuals, specifically people who were staying in the same vacation home during that week. So large cases of entire households who were becoming infected. And so it was really sort of that information that set us to start asking questions and trying to gather as much information as possible. And at some point, we realized we just needed to bring this to the next level and reached out to local health departments and CDC. And
thankfully you did. What are the risk points, Dr. Levasseur, the risk points that you're watching and are concerned about when it comes to the spread of this Delta variant?
So in particular with this cluster, the thing that I think was most surprising to us was the large number of symptomatic disease. And thankfully, there weren't a whole lot of people who wound up being hospitalized in this cluster. But there were people who said, for example, that this infection, based on, all the infections that they've had in their life, was like an 8 out of 10, like the young man that you just had speaking before. It's a really powerful illness that people are getting. It's not something that anyone, really wants. So identifying that there was, substantial amount of illness in this population was one of those things that tipped us off. But also the fact that it was going through households and entire, groups of friends who stayed together was one of the things that we identified.
Doctor, at this point, it seems pretty clear that this country will never fully wear a mask or be fully vaccinated against COVID. So what do we do? What happens now?
Well, we just need to encourage people to do the right thing. I think what we've seen over the course of the past few weeks is that places that have had lower vaccination rates, as cases increase, people become a little more convinced that maybe, they need to go out and get this vaccine. Some people are waiting until there's full FDA approval. We may have that for the mRNA vaccines by the end of the month, hopefully. And I think that those are all things that are going to be really helpful. But I think this is going to come down to people, really, gritting down and realizing that we need to work together to get out of this. It's the only way we can get out of it.
But before we quit, for the millions who've done the right thing and gotten the vaccine, they were kind of promised being close to the end of the pandemic. Do you ever see a time where we don't have this virus at all?
It's not likely. The efforts that we need to do to make sure that a large enough proportion of the globe gets vaccinated to really eradicate this virus is just going to be monumental. And we've done it before with other diseases. I'm not saying it's outside of the realm of possibility. I'm just not sure that there's necessarily the political will to go in that direction at this point.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.